Hello everyone, Elisabeth from Fashion into the Past. Welcome back to another video. Today we have a really exciting project. Basically, this is a last minute type of project. I was just sitting on the old YouTubes. I was looking at my watch later. I put lots of videos into my watch later, and I always have this at least like 20 videos, if not usually more than that, in my watch later, and I never watch them. I always put videos in there and then I never watch them, or I go through it and get rid of the some of the videos in there, and yeah, it's just the whole thing. But I was watching some of the videos in my watch later. It's like I want to actually watch some of these, and I fell across this one in there that had to do with making 18th century mitts, and I was just like watching this video and I was like, oh my gosh, these mitts are gorgeous. And I just thought, as I was watching this video, I got to the end and I was like, that literally looked like the easiest thing to make on the planet. It's a nice, pretty small project, and it's something I need for my 18th century wardrobe. Like, I've been thinking about making 18th century mitts and things like that for a while, but I didn't have the pattern and whatever else and blah blah. But watching this video is like, this is literally the easiest thing on the planet. And she even linked to a website in her description of like where she got her image and what she used to make her pattern. So I have now officially taken that image and printed it, and I'm going to now put it together, cut it out, and attempt to make this. I am going to make not a mock-up, but a mock-up. Like, I'm going to make a unsewn mock-up. So I'm going to cut this out of some mock-up material, just try it on my arm, and just pin it. I'm not going to actually bother with sewing it, whatever. I just want to make sure that it fits, because this is what the original pattern looks like. We've got the thumb hole, and the thumb thing, whatever you want to call that. And then we have the actual glove itself. And this is just like an extra little tip. I don't really know exactly. But anyway, this is the actual glove and this is the thumb sleeve. There. That's a good term. Thumb sleeve and arm sleeve. So basically it's obviously way too small, because this is just the original size that's printed out as. So I went and on the computer I went and printed it out again, but this time I made it into pieces that get taped together like a pattern would be. I was originally going to trace and draw this out, and then I decided that I wanted to just have this be exact, especially with like the different shapes at the top and the thumb hole. So for materials, what she did was she did a lining, and then she had a wool outer layer and a lining that was like a nice soft, it might have been a linen or a cotton, I don't remember. But what I have, and I think I have enough of both of these, so I'm really excited. And for the lining, I have this white cotton, and it feels pretty comfortable. It feels pretty nice. I feel like that'll feel pretty nice on my skin. It feels pretty soft. I think it's pretty good. Pretty good for the lining. And then for the wool outer layer, I'm pretty excited because I have a couple of giant, not giant, but sort of bigger pieces, slightly bigger pieces, small but big, medium-sized pieces of this wool from a previous project. I'm so excited because it's this red wool that I have. Now, I do have to remember, okay, this is going to be a problem. I just remembered that this has to be cut on the bias, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it on the bias with this piece. So generally I don't understand exactly how this works, but when I put this on, if I put my thumb in the thumb hole, I'm not sure like where this is supposed to lie, but I feel like this top part might be just a little bit too long, and the whole sleeve itself might be a little bit too long as well, because it goes to my elbow, but it goes past, and it's supposed to go to my elbow, and I want to make it go to my elbow so that when I bend my elbow, the glove is here and not here. Alright guys, mock-up numero uno. Well, actually this is mock-up number 2. The first mock-up, I just traced out the pattern and cut it out. And I intended to add seam allowance and whatever else to it and forgot when I was cutting it out. And so it was definitely way too small in general. So I made this one much bigger. Now here is my issue. First off, it's still too long, which I didn't really adjust the height. I just left it. And I'm just going to leave the height, length, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to leave the length for now just because I can always cut that off. Like, that's not going to be as much of a problem. This I did make a little bit bigger. I'm just allowing for seam allowance, although it can definitely be shortened. And this is obviously too much. Alright guys, it is much later now, and it is my cue to take a break and be done for today, but I have some updates for you. I've officially, there you go, there's my update. I made a glove. I will say this is too long. I'm going to have to see if I can fix that, because it's definitely as long as my hand. I don't really want it to be that long. I need it to be a little bit shorter than that. Like, I need it to be more like that. So, I need to figure out exactly. But I think, generally, this is pretty good. I will say the thumb area might be a little bit tight. And I'm trying to determine if it's the thumb hole. It might be the thumb hole. Like, the part that's in the actual glove. It might be the thumb hole part and not the actual thumb sleeve. I don't know. It might just be both, actually. So I'm going to have to adjust that in the next mitt that I make, because I have to make 2 of them. But yeah, this is generally what it's looking like right now on my arm. I feel pretty good about this. I mean, I now have an 18th mitt. The only thing is my thumb feels like this really tight. Alright guys, I just wanted to give you an update. I did fix the length. There's hair on here now. I fixed the length on this top part, and I tried to fix the thumb hole. It's still pretty tight, and I don't know that there's a good way to fix that, so we're just gonna leave it as is, because I feel like in order to really fix it, I'd have to basically tear this whole thing apart, and also I would have to re-sew another one of these, because I did cut some of the excess off, not thinking, but now I kind of regret that I did that, because I probably could have used some of the excess, but also I'd have to tear it apart anyway, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But I wanted to mention that if you noticed, there's a triangle in here. That's because I pieced it, but I didn't have enough. Also, this isn't on the bias. The thumb is on the bias, but this isn't on the bias. I did cut out this piece for the other one, which I wanted this one to be my nice one. And originally I was thinking in my head this would be like the right sleeve, but somehow this one ended up being the right one. So, whatever. But this one is cut on the bias because I did have enough to do one on the bias, but I didn't have enough to do both on the bias. And this, as you can see by the piecing, the piece I had wasn't even enough for one of these. I had to piece it. But the good thing is that, say it with me now, piecing is period. So yeah, it fits pretty good. The thumb, I mean, it does maybe feel just slightly less constricting, just by like a hair's breadth. Hello everyone. So I actually fully intended to show you the process of me making the second glove, because I was like, I'm gonna make the first glove, make sure I know what I'm doing, and then the second glove I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. Well, I might be this far, and I haven't shown you anything. Whoops, I completely forgot. I got distracted. I was listening to audiobooks all day, and I got really distracted. But I will give you a rough overview. You can just go watch the video that I watched. I will try and remember to link it down below. That'll be more helpful to you, probably. But basically what I did was I had the thumb piece here, and I had 2 pieces of lining and the outer piece, and I sewed the top and the sides right here. These straight sides and the top. And then I flipped it right side out, and then that's the thumb piece. And then you take this, you fold the thumb piece in half, and you sew across the straight line here, and that's it. Now we're done with the thumb piece for now. Set that aside. Now we're going to, actually we're not done with the thumb piece. So we're going to take the thumb piece, and actually this piece with the hole here, it won't be a hole. It'll be cut, like you make a cut and then you cut so there's a bunch of triangles in this hole, but you're not actually cutting this hole out. So then you fold over the excess to the inside, you pin it, and then you put the thumb in there, and you take the pins out and pin around the thumb. Well, technically, if this is the inside and this is the outside, the thumb would go like this. And then you just sew around the thumb to make it be attached. And then you take, and this is the outer piece. And then you take the lining and you sew all the way up the top. You sew down both sides. And then once all of that's done, you flip it right side out. And then you sew the lining portion, you sew the excess fabric in and you sew it to the thumb. Which none of this probably makes a lot of sense, but as you can see, that's what I did here. I folded this fabric in and sewed it down to the thumb. Now what I'm working on is top stitching. So what I'm doing here is I'm top stitching all the way around the entire thing. So as you notice, the bottom was open when we flipped it right side out. We didn't do anything to the bottom. But I literally just folded the bottom in and top stitched it down as I was top stitching the rest of it. That's not exactly what the lady in the video did, but she was worried about matching this up to the side over here and then having the bottom match up, and then she would cut the excess off. I'm literally just going from the bottom up instead of from the top down because whatever, I don't care. Okay, so it's up to you at this point if you want to pin or not pin. I think I am going to pin just because I can, and I have my pins readily available right now, or 4 of them. So I'm just gonna roughly pin it. You don't need to pin it. It doesn't need to be perfect. Whatever you feel like doing is up to you. I'm just gonna give it a rough pin so that it's good. And as you can see, this doesn't match up exactly to that corner. And you know what? I am unbothered by that because I could technically cut the bottom off and resew it, but I don't want to. And also, one of the reasons, again, that I didn't sew the bottom as I'm sewing the side seam, which is what the lady in the video did, is because it's so much easier to sew this bottom seam closed when it's flat. So that's why I did it the way I did it. And in order to make both the gloves the same anyways, I'm just going to do it the same way I did this one. This one also, as you can see, didn't completely meet up with this seam. So now, to close this seam, I'm going to be using what's called a ladder stitch. So first, we're going to make a knot in our fabric so that our thread stays there. I don't know why. There we go. Just pull your thread through, not all the way. You still want a little bit showing so you can make a knot. And then pull your thread through the loop and pull it tight. You don't want to pull it too tight because you don't want to pull it out. And then you just make a second knot by doing the same exact thing and not getting your thread all knotty. And then literally a ladder stitch just involves you stitching on the outer edge. So we're going to only be stitching on this red part, which is the wool. So we're going to make a stitch on this side. And it's always going towards the up because we're going that direction. And then you make a stitch on this side. And you just keep doing that all the way up. A stitch on this side, a stitch on this side, like back and forth like a ladder. And you're not sewing through both layers at once, you're just sewing through the one side. And then you sew through the other side. and then you sew through the other side, and you just keep doing that. And something else to remember is once you get like a good enough amount, you want to pull it. You want to pull it nice and tight, because right now it looks like a ladder, and it's not disappearing as much as I'd like it to. Oh no, I just broke it. Once you pull it, it'll disappear. I just broke the thread, so therefore I have to start this over again. But generally, you pull the stitch not too tight, clearly, and then it disappears, and that's what the ladder stitch does. Here we are, glove number 2, or mitt number 2. The only problem that I have with this is, first off, it's off center every time I wear it, and I think that might also have to do something with my off whatever of this, and I could technically take it apart and fix it, but maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't, but right now I'm not going to do that. So, for now, we have glove number 1. It's a little bit, wrinkly, but whatever. It works good enough for me, as far as I'm concerned. And, yes, the actual thumb part is fine, but this thumb hole is a little tight. Same as this one. And I'm pretty sure the only reason is because I might have made the hole a little too small or something. But now, let me just get this on there. I will say, this one is slightly tighter than this one. This one isn't that bad compared to this one. And, it's not as centered as I wanted it to be on my thumb. I don't know if you could see that. Both of them are like that. I wanted to center it more, but it didn't end up getting very centered. That's fine. I feel like this works for what it's meant to work for. I definitely feel like this one's a slight bit looser than this one is. For sure. But that's okay. I'm just thinking if I wear like sleeves underneath of this, then it'll give room for that too. But I think I'm fairly happy. These are fairly comfortable to wear. I think you can see the top part ends roughly at the same place, so they're roughly the same size. The only major problem that I am kind of annoyed at when I wear them is if I fold my fingers down. They're still, I feel like I need like something to attach to this to make this fold down with my fingers or something, because it feels weird when I go like this and they're still like there go some triangles. I don't know. But I think these are pretty awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't believe I have now officially made a really short project and video, but also I've managed to make another video that I think I'm going to edit and upload this week, which is shocking to me because I just posted a video the other day on whatever the last thing I made was. Oh yeah, a skirt that I made. And I just posted that one the other day, and now I'm going to get ready to edit and upload and post this. Like, that doesn't happen. I rarely ever post on here, so I'm sorry for that. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you intend to make this project, because it was literally so much fun and so easy. And even if you're someone who primarily sews on a sewing machine, I still highly recommend you hand sew this project, because it is just so relaxing and so much fun. Hand sewing in general, to me, is so much fun and so relaxing. But I also feel like for those of you who don't hand sew, you should just give yourself one project where you challenge yourself to hand sew. And this is super quick, super easy, not that difficult. All you need to know is a back stitch. Basically, that's basically the stitch I used the entire time, and the blanket stitch. And that's it. That's the only thing I've used throughout this entire sewing process. And all you need to do is assemble this. It's so easy. It's so small. So I highly challenge you to make these mitts. It's so fun, it's super easy, and hand sewing to me is so relaxing. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you in the next one, and I hope this inspires you to go into your own sewing rooms. Bye. My head goes forward and my heart goes back. My head goes forward and my heart goes back. My head goes, my heart goes. Gonna make you feel alone.